Okay, so I was just about to record my annual New Year's What's New for Insert New Year Here update video that I've been doing for the past couple of years since the 2023 video. And then this fucking shit just had to happen out of nowhere. So obviously, I know you guys were expecting my what to expect for the year video, but unfortunately, I'm gonna have to delay that because we have to talk about the big news of the day to start off the year 2025. It's basically all you're seeing on the news for the most part, which is the terrorist attacks, that's what they're being called, in New Orleans, actually, on Bourbon Street. And then there was a second one that happened hours later in Las Vegas. Now, unfortunately, at least 15 people are confirmed dead. Dozens more are injured. We're not entirely sure what, I guess, condition some of those that are injured are in. Las Vegas, on the other hand, we're hearing at least one person was killed. I don't know how many are injured from it. Hopefully it's not that many. But in New Orleans, a guy plowed into a bunch of people on Bourbon Street, right around the French Quarter. We're not, again, exactly sure the circumstances of the situation. Apparently, the individual who did this, they got out of their vehicle. So they run a bunch of people over first at high speeds. Then they got out of their vehicle and then they start spraying everybody. The cops then show up and they started spraying them with gunfire. And then he retaliates by shooting back. And I think there are like 2 officers that were shot in this whole shootout. Although, last I heard, they were both in stable condition, so good news there. All officers involved are expected to survive. And supposedly, while they were investigating the situation, they found in his pickup truck that there were pre-detonated IEDs that were supposed to be planted, around the area. So like around Bourbon Street and the French Quarter. So that's what's being presumed here in this investigation, which is ongoing. This means that this was obviously intentional. This was a terrorist attack. And it was probably vendetta or religiously related. I'm thinking that this person may have been, based on the data that we have, at least as of this time, as of recording, this dude was a normal American, former US Army vet, but has been personally disgruntled, probably didn't like Trump. Maybe he's been radicalized while he was slumped into a depression. He lost his wife, he lost his kids. Something must have happened that caused this dude to snap and carry out this attack. Based on what is found in his vehicle, the IEDs, we've seen from reports and we've seen from video footage that there was a black flag that was attached to the truck as it was plowing over people. So it wasn't like a random runaway car or something like that. This wasn't some random drunk dude who got so drunk celebrating New Year's that he lost control of the car and now he's just driving on Bourbon Street and accidentally hitting a bunch of people over or anything like that. This was definitely not random, that much we know. But if you leave behind pre-detonated IEDs and C4 plastic explosives in that vehicle at the scene, that's a telltale sign that this was presumably deliberate. The New Orleans Police Department did confirm in their investigation that this was obviously an act of terror. And then the FBI obviously had to weigh in it as well. But then there was this press conference that was done by the FBI investigating. There was this one agent with the nose rings, and she mentions something that counters what the New Orleans Police Department says, that this was not in fact a terrorist attack, despite what the New Orleans Police Department already found based on their investigation, and based on what is found, and based on what was being done. The FBI also did confirm that there were actually IEDs in the vehicle that was being used. Unfortunately, in the wake of this attack, a college football game that was supposed to be played at the Superdome, by the way, underrated stadium, a college football playoff game, the Sugar Bowl, I believe, between Georgia and Notre Dame. That game was unfortunately postponed due to the terrorist attack that happened on Bourbon Street. That's how serious it is, although it's most likely for the safety of those individuals that are attending the game and the players and whatnot. So I wouldn't say that it's a direct target of it. It's just more of a precautionary measure, and I'm pretty sure there will be increased security at the Superdome once the Sugar Bowl happens, or once it has already happened. So while the FBI was investigating investigating, they did in fact found that there were undetonated IEDs and explosives, and they're also investigating whether or not the individual had accomplices that were also partaking in this attack, or potentially coordinating to do other attacks. Like already, for the entirety of the day, there has been a huge police presence throughout the entire city of New Orleans, especially in the more populated areas like, the French Quarter and especially Bourbon Street, where the car ramming incident happened. But they're still trying to figure out if there were accomplices involved in this as well, if there was like multiple people that were doing this and that the perpetrator didn't act alone, and that there could be other attacks that are happening. So some of these other accomplices could potentially still be at large. We're not entirely sure if that's the case, although the FBI is not ruling it out just yet, which segues into another attack that also happened. So while everybody is talking about the attack in New Orleans, again, as I mentioned, we're also hearing that there are potentially other accomplices that are at large. This is again suspected by the FBI. We also have to touch up upon a separate attack that happened hours after the one in New Orleans, and it's getting maybe 1/10 to 1/12 of the attention, which is the explosion of the Tesla Cybertruck in Las Vegas, right outside Trump Tower. Now, much like with New Orleans, this was also deliberate. We now know that there were fireworks that were present in the vehicle. We know that there was kerosene, butane, gunpowder, etc., etc. And the idea that the driver, simply just lit up a joint or something like that and, oh fuck, all the fireworks are going off. I don't believe that that's the case. I do not think that this was accidental. I think it was just someone who was pissed off and disgruntled by Trump and Elon Musk. That's why they would use a Cybertruck and go to Trump Tower and decide to park it out in front and just essentially blow themselves up. And you can tell from the CCTV footage alone that fireworks were in fact found in the vehicle, because the explosion that was seen looks like a detonation of fireworks, and it didn't resemble an explosion like from a lithium-ion battery, which are the same kind of batteries used in electric vehicles like the Cybertruck. And the car ended up surviving because of the stainless steel structure of the vehicle, so it's heavily durable and can withstand explosions like these. Not to mention, Cybertrucks are effectively safe from battery explosions anyway, because they go through like these rigorous testings and whatnot. So the explosion was caused by fireworks, and the investigation did prove that fireworks were present in the vehicle. Now you might say, well, maybe they were going to attend a party and they happened to have fireworks ready for the occasion. And then they lit a stogie in the truck, and it was obviously a bad idea to do that. And then all of a sudden, oh fuck, an ash just fell out of my stogie onto the mortars. Oh shit, I guess I'm gonna fucking die. So long, I guess, cruel world. I don't believe that this is as likely as somebody stacking a bunch of explosives, organic hydrocarbons, incineraries, and other flammable explosives onto the back of their vehicle, lighting it on fire, right out under the building, and attempting to burn the building to the ground and effectively bomb it. Probably it was someone that wasn't able to access more conventional explosives or something like that. Hey, I've got I don't know, how many firecrackers do I got back there, honey? Oh, over 9,000? Yep, that sounds like it'll do the trick. And then all of a sudden, kaboom, blow themselves up, attempting to destroy the building. That's what I think happened with this. This was almost certainly not an accident, but it's not getting as much attention. Not that many people are talking about it because it's been eclipsed by the New Orleans attack and the ongoing investigation there. Speaking of which, just moments after the car bombing in Las Vegas, there's currently a police presence at the French Quarter at this moment, and police cars are already rushing to the scene, which further solidifies my claim/prediction that this has a huge potential of being a coordinated attack. Supposedly smoke was also found in the area as well, hence why they were called. The timing between the two are very interesting to say the least, especially on the day it happened. Of course, it probably was somebody you want attention for New Year's or something like that. Happy New Year's, plows through a crowd of people and or blows up a truck in front of a hotel. happens quite routinely. Obviously, there's two separate investigations going on between the two, and right now they're actually investigating whether these two might actually be linked. Like I said, it's possible. Again, the FBI is already investigating whether or not there were accomplices or other accomplices that were involved in the New Orleans attack. The one in Las Vegas could be one of those accomplices doing another attack in a completely different part of the country. Wouldn't at all be surprised if that ended up being the case. There could be some sort of nationwide network of terrorists that have come in and made their way into the country, but that's only because we got a debilitated border at the moment. So thousands of potential terrorists have come into the country. They are coordinating with one another. They are all part of the same group. If they wanted to do a bunch of sporadic attacks across the country just to concern the civilian population, they're certainly capable of doing so. Some people were expecting that the big attack would happen in New York City, more specifically in Manhattan at Times Square, where they would drop the ball annually to start the new year. Others said that Los Angeles would be where it would happen. Some people even, like the InfoWars, Alex Jones, worshipping conspiracy dudes, were all talking about like a nuke or something like that. Knowing that the radioactive material that was stolen in New Jersey not too long ago, all of it was medically related for the most part. So you really can't turn it into any kind of atomic weapon. It's just not enough of it. I mean, you need an outstanding amount more of it in order to do so anyway, and you also have to heavily refine it as well, which could take a long-ass time depending on the amount. Most non-state entities, even if they were absolutely absurd enough to do such a thing, don't have access to that particular kind of technology. That's the good news. The bad news is, if you are an unarmed man suspected of doing something sus, the cops can just kill you and beat you up on the spot without any due process. However, if you're planning for a terrorist attack, you're just on the Fed's radar. This has happened over and over and over and over again under multiple administrations, by the way. This isn't even just like, the Trump administration, the Biden administration, or even the Obama administration. This has been a problem for a very, very long time. Since 9/11, US government gets intel that somebody is planning weird shit. US government monitors them, but ultimately ignores the situation altogether. Then it goes after the dude who just ran the speed limit, of course. They were going 55 at a 40 zone. Or somebody who downloaded the full-length pirated version of the Sonic movie. And then all of a sudden, an attack occurs, and now they're just like, oh my god, this is so inexplicable. How did this even happen? We never saw it coming. That right there is not a conspiracy theory. That's a conspiracy fact. Read Andrew Pollack's book, Why Meadow Died. It's the same fucking shit. And speaking of which, this is kinda sort of related. Whenever there's like a mass shooting, like let's say 3 people are shot, the left will come out and they'll blame the gun and they'll say, oh my god, look what happened. We need more gun control. We need to ban guns. And then they start calling for things like an assault weapons ban, trying to ban certain style of firearms that are disproportionately used. They never talk about the handgun-related shootings in like Chicago over the weekend, of which there are usually about 15, 20, maybe even 30 per week. And those same handguns are already acquired illegally. Like, those guns that are used are already considered illegal. You'll also have conservative legacy outlets blaming violent video games for what happened, and we need to add regulations to those as well. However, countries that have violent video games don't have any mass shootings, and people that can't own guns can own cars. And then you get this sort of shit happening. They can either use it as a weapon and run a bunch of people over, or simply put fireworks in them and blow it up like that. Now I wonder what the motivation behind these 2 attacks were. Personally, I do think in some way these are coordinated. If they're not, then Las Vegas, I would assume it's just a disgruntled leftist who just doesn't like Trump and Elon Musk. So he stole a Cybertruck, put fireworks in it, and blew it up in front of Trump Tower just to make a statement. As for the New Orleans attack, it could be someone went psycho. It could also be for the same reasons for Las Vegas, it could be religiously motivated. We're going to admit that, of course, since there was some sort of black flag found on the vehicle that was used in New Orleans. If these two attacks are linked with one another, then I think religious motive would be the more logical for both of these attacks if they were connected. Right now, we don't know that, and they're investigating that right now. But the fact that somebody got out of their car and started shooting at people and had a bunch of IEDs planted everywhere means that this isn't just somebody had a stroke and accidentally went off Bourbon Street at high speeds. That much is surely clear. This was definitely a willful attack. It's presumably deliberate. It's being linked to terrorism. And the Tesla Cybertruck was no accident either. There were fireworks in the vehicle, and knowing the location of it, that was also an intentional and deliberate attack. Fireworks just don't go off like that by themselves. Something must have caused it to explode. So yeah, two big attacks just happened in New Orleans and Las Vegas. New Orleans has lost at least 15 people. Again, we're not entirely sure the extent of the injuries of all of those who are injured, so we'll have to wait and see on that. We'll also have to wait and see more about what's going on in Vegas as well. A lot of speculation about the motive between the two. Again, they're both being investigated. They're already investigating whether or not these two attacks were linked. You're going to be seeing a lot of speculation about the motive, or motives, if these two are not related. Once we have more information about what happened, I'll be sure to update you guys on my X/Twitter, maybe even in a future video if applicable. And this is exactly the reason why you should subscribe, because I'm your news guy. This is what I do. I'm covering almost everything that is going on in the world, and this is still an ongoing situation, so I'll be sure to update you guys on my X/Twitter. I'll be retweeting and saying a bunch of things there. It is at AXY0M. I will flash that up on your screen. I might upload a video about it. You don't know. This is exactly the reasons why you subscribe. So that way, when a video comes out, if you want to stay up to date, you can follow me there and subscribe to the channel so that way you don't miss a video when it's uploaded. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button down below. And if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the little notification bell. Be sure to follow me on all my social medias. Links are in the description below. Share this video around with your friends, families, boyfriends, girlfriends, enemies, whomever. Definitely helps me out a lot, helps the video grow, and helps grow the channel if you were to share this with whomever you know. Again, I am active here on YouTube. This video will also be on Rumble as well. Not many people know that I have a Rumble channel, so be sure to subscribe to me there as well. And I'm also active on X, so don't forget to follow me there. That is where I am the most active, if I'm being honest. Again, with 2025, I haven't made my what to expect in 2025 video just yet. I know I say this every year, but I gotta be more active here. If I want to be doing this in life, I gotta be more active, I gotta be more consistent, I gotta start uploading on time, and I gotta make better content. I'm planning on hopefully achieving most, if not all, of those resolutions. So if you don't want to miss out what I got, don't forget to subscribe. And when you turn on your notifications, make sure you set them to all and not personalize, so that way you'll be notified with every video that is being uploaded. And on X, if you have any video ideas or news tips that you want me to cover in a future video, don't be shy to let me know. My DMs are open. You can tweet at me. Leave it in a comment down below. What do you want me to cover in a future video? I'm open to talking about pretty much anything in the news, because that's what I am, your news guy. I want to keep you guys up to date, and if you want me to cover a story that is not on my mind, if you have an idea on what to cover on a video, don't be shy to let me know. I see all the requests. Just putting that out there. So anyways, guys, like, subscribe, ring notifications, and until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, talk soon, you're awesome.